Hello, my fellow students. I just wanted to go over with you people the four different strategies, four vertical strategies. I initially at the beginning I struggled with them to understand them. You hear of the terms call debit spread, call credit spread, put debit spread, put credit spread, and all these terms can be very confusing. And I thought maybe I can share some of the notes that I've done for myself, because I'm a very visual person. I had to draw them out, and for me to finally grasp and see, oh, okay, this is what all these terms and this is how they relate to one another, and these to illustrate the four verticals. And it's very important to understand these four verticals because they are the foundations. They are the foundation strategies that help build on more complicated vertical strategies. So let's go to my notes and I'll show you what exactly I mean. So these are the four of them. Two of them on the call side and two of them on the put side. The put side is when the call is when you're long or when you're bullish, when you think the underlying price of the stock, the price of the underlying stock is going to go up. So it's when you're bullish, and we also call that a call. And the opposite, when the price of the underlying stock, you feel it's going to go down, or you say you're bearish. On the call side, you buy a call debit spread when you believe that you've done your analysis and you believe the stock will go up. The yellow line is the future trend. Let's say today we are here. You've done your analysis and you believe the price will go up. So you can buy a vertical spread. The reason why people like vertical spreads is because they define for you your loss and your profits. They also help reduce the break-even line, and it's also cheaper than buying a call. I can illustrate you further with some notes I had done, some screenshots I had taken. And really what it means is that you're buying a call option at a strike price, and then you're selling another call option at a higher price or deeper out of the money. So you're buying at the strike price and selling deeper into the out of the money. And then the difference between the two is what you pay. And what you pay is what constitutes your maximum loss. So the reason why it's called verticals is because on the chain, buy call and the sell call are vertically on the chain. As you can see here, I've tried to show them in different colors so that it becomes easier to see. So you're buying at or close to at the money and selling further out of the money. So let's go to Think or Swim so I can illustrate this further. On the trade, you select the option chain. Make sure it's showing vertical, and then you select the expiry date. Let's say for in this instance, we choose February 19 as the expiry date. And since we are buying, we go to the column, the ask column for buy, and then we buy close to at the money. Let's change this to 1 to make it easier. Now the goodness with the Think or Swim is that when you're buying a vertical, you don't buy the two calls separately. It actually brings them out both. So the buy and the sell, and then you only need to now change the variables. Like here, we want to buy at 125, and we want a spread, a vertical spread that is difference of 10. So we go to 135. And it does the calculation. See, this is how much you pay, $3.95. And since it's 10, if we press this, we can see more details. We multiply with the 100 shares, which is what one contract controls. So it's $3.98. That will be our maximum loss. What we've paid for, that will be our maximum loss, and our profit will be the difference, which is 1,000 minus 602. And if we can analyze this trade further with the use of charts, and as you can see here, it illustrates for you as the price goes up, this purple line, as the price goes up, the value of the option also goes up, and it's capped. So even if the price goes beyond 135, you'll only get the maximum of 602, as we saw. And the maximum loss you will experience is 398. So even if the price goes below 125, that's the maximum loss that you will experience. And then you have the put. The call debit, the call credit spread. The call credit spread, now, because it's a market, when you buy a call debit spread, there's somebody who is selling it to you. And the person who is selling to you, in a market, it's like opposites. One person is buying because they believe the stock will go up. The other person is selling because he believes the stock will go down and he wants it to go down so he can buy it at a cheaper price. So the guy who is selling you the option, he's receiving money from you, and that's why it's a credit spread. And as the diagram illustrates, he is selling at close to the strike price and then buying deeper out of the money. So he's selling at a strike price and buying at a higher price. Selling at the strike price, buying at a higher price. Selling at the strike price and buying here, and it's because he believes the stock will go down. So if it expires out of the vertical, then we say the contract will expire worthless and he gets to keep the money. So the amount of money he receives is the difference between the sell and the buy. That's what he gets to keep, and that's his maximum profit. And like in our illustration, it's a difference of 10, so that's 1,000. So if you subtract what he receives, the difference will be the maximum loss, so which is 691. So let's go to Thinkorswim so I can illustrate this. In Thinkorswim, we are selling a spread, a call vertical. So we go on the bid side and we sell. And so we are selling at 125 and then selling deeper out of the money at 135, and the difference is the credit that we receive. And so this will be our maximum profit, 397, because it's a difference of 10, and our maximum loss, let's change this to 1 to make it easier. And our maximum loss is a difference, which is 603. And we can illustrate this further with a graph. Like you see, as the price goes down is when you make profit up to a maximum of 397. But if the price goes against you and it starts going up, then you make loss. Now let's go to the opposite, which is on the put side. Now on a put debit spread is when you believe the price will go down. So you buy near or at the money, and then you sell deep out of the money. Buy near at the money or close to at the money, and then you sell deep out of the money. And it's because you believe the price, the market is bearish and the price will go down. So when you subtract the two, you get the difference, which is how much you pay to buy this option contract. And like we've been using a spread of 10, so that will be your maximum loss, which is 218, and your maximum profit will be the difference out of 1,000, which is 728. So let's go to Thinkorswim and I can illustrate this to you. So since we are buying a put credit, we go to the put option, and on this ask column, because that's where we are buying, and then we press buy 125, and then we buy at 125 and then we sell deep out of the money. So a spread of 10, That will take us to 115. And the goodness with Thinkorswim, you don't have to buy the two calls separately, and it does the calculation for you. And in this case, it calculates, it's a debit of 330. That's how much you need to pay to buy this contract. And that also constitutes your maximum loss, and your maximum profit is 670, which is the difference from 1,000. So we can still illustrate this on a diagram, on a graph, sorry. And here we see it. Because we believe the price will go down, so as the price goes down, it's when you make money. You have your break-even point, which is 121.80. So as you go below, you make money. If the price goes up, you lose. Now let's go back to our notes to the last one, and this is the put credit spread. Now remember, it's the opposite of the put debit spread, and in the put credit spread is because you believe the price will go up, and so that's why you're selling the put option, the put spread option. And because you're the one selling it, then you receive a credit for it. So you sell at or close to the money, and then you buy deep out of the money, as is illustrated here. Sell here at or close to the money and deep out of the money. And at the expiry, the price of the underlying stock has to be above the price at which you sold the spread. So at here, it has to be above this for you to make maximum profit, for this contract to expire worthless. And that way you get to keep the maximum profit, the maximum credit that you received, which is in this case is 212. So let's go to Thinkorswim so I can illustrate for you this. So it's on the put side, you are the one selling this contract. So on the bid at or close to the strike price, you sell, and then you buy deep out of the money. So we want a spread of 10, so we go to 115, and the difference, Thinkorswim calculates it for you, and the difference is the credit that you receive. In this instance, it's 330. So this 330 is the profit, and the loss is the difference, because it's a spread of 10, that's 1,000, because as we said, every contract controls 100 shares. So it's 1,000 minus 330, so that's 770. Or let me press this so we can confirm. Or 670. It's 670, that would be a maximum loss, and 330, that would be a maximum profit. And also, I think the graph will also help us analyze this further. Break-even point at 126. So as the price goes up, you start making money up to a maximum of 330. It doesn't matter, even if the stock price goes beyond 125, the maximum you'll get is 330. But if the trade goes against you and it starts dropping, then you start losing money. Start losing money, and the maximum you will lose is 670. So even if the price goes way below 115, that's the maximum you will lose. So to recap, let's go back to my diagram. So these are the 4 different basic vertical strategies. The cost debit spread is when you're bullish, you buy at the strike price and then you sell deep out of the money, and this is when you think the underlying stock price will go up. And then the call credit spread is the opposite. You think the price will go down, so you sell at close to the strike price, and then you buy deep out of the money. And the way you get to keep the maximum, you get to gain by keeping the whole credit, is if the price does not get into the vertical and expires below the vertical, and we say the contract expires worthless, and you get to keep the full credit. The opposite on the put side. On the put side is when you are bearish and you think the price will go down, so you buy one call at the money or close to the money, and then you sell deep out of the money. And if the at the expiry date the price of the underlying stock is between the two, then you get to make your profit. Even if it goes beyond this, there's a maximum. You get to make only the maximum at expiry date. The opposite for the put credit. If the price, you sell close to the strike price, you buy deep out of the money, and if your price expires out of the vertical, then you get to keep the full credit. We say the contract expires worthless. In my presentation, I've used buying at the money or out of the money a lot. This is purely for illustration purposes. The exact position where you buy these verticals is determined by a variety of other factors, some of which you've learned in class, which includes the Greeks and also the technical analysis and your fundamental analysis. So a lot of these other issues that really helps you determine where to buy the verticals are covered in class. So this is purely for illustrative purposes. I hope this illustration has helped clarify the 4 basic verticals. This is just a snippet. We've done much more in class, so you can refer back to our notes. And if you still have more clarification that you require, please feel free to contact our trainers at Pete and Pete Investors. Otherwise, continue with the hard work of learning and practicing and trading. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.